if anyone in the world is going to have a great faith, it's the men who actually saw firsthand Jesus' life.
Really? Well, I kind of disagree. I'll tell you why. If this gentleman here claims to be God in human form, right out of the starting blocks, I'm going to be highly skeptical. I'll tell you why. His flesh will get in the way. You guys got flesh like I do. He's got 2 eyeballs, 2 ears, hair, head, torso, 2 arms, 2 legs, just like me. And if this guy's going to sit here and tell me that he's God in human form, I mean, back off, buddy. That's absurd. And I think the disciples had that same problem that I would have. I mean, you see a guy walking through Palestine and he's claiming to be God in human form. I mean, come on, the guy sweats, he eats, he defecates. I mean, he's just a human being.
But he walks on water, he raises the dead.
Yeah, he walks on water and he raises the dead. Am I sure I saw that right? Did I really see what I think I saw? Or was I hallucinating? I mean, Jesus, would you please do it again? No, I won't do it again. Well, come on, Jesus, just do it again. No, I won't do it again. Well, maybe I was hallucinating. I mean, the human mind, come on, we're skeptical.
When did they find their conviction then?
All right. What happened was, those disciples walked with Christ. They had a hunger to know God, but they struggled with a lot of doubt, a lot of questions. I think the prime example of that is Thomas. You see, when I was out here last year, a guy stepped out of the crowd and he said, listen, if Jesus will just do for me what he did for Thomas, I'll believe. I said, really? Wait a second, time out. You look what Thomas did in John chapter 11. In John chapter 11, Jesus says, let's go back to Bethany. I want to see Lazarus. And Thomas knows if Jesus goes back to Bethany, his enemies are going to grab him and kill him. So Thomas says to those around him, let's go with him and die with him. So my point is, Thomas was not this trite cynic playing little games with God. You know, God, perform a miracle here and then I'll believe in you. Perform one here and then I'll go with you. Thomas was an honest searcher, an honest seeker. The guy was really struggling. And then he's totally blown out of the water when Jesus bleeds and dies on a cross, because all of his expectations of Messiah were, the guy's going to lead us to military triumph over Rome. And instead, Jesus gets nailed to a cross, gets executed by the Romans. So after Jesus dies, Thomas is just reeling with doubt, reeling with unanswered questions. And then the other disciples say, hey, Thomas, we've seen Jesus risen from the dead. And Thomas says, no. I am not going to have my expectations raised like that, only to have them cruelly crashed the way they were when Christ died on a cross. I refuse to believe unless I can see Jesus. Now notice that Jesus didn't condemn Thomas for that kind of honest, searching doubt. Instead, Jesus stands before Thomas and says, my man right here, take your hands and put them in the nail prints in my hands, take your hand and thrust it in the spear in my side, and Thomas stopped doubting and believed. And Thomas hits the ground and says, my Lord and my God. Now, sir, what really clinched it for those disciples was the resurrection.